Welcome to the highlight show for Group 16 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. There's been some chopping and changing in this group, but Gareth Potts remains the favourite for it. Up against him, Gio Edgar, Chris Day, who's a last-minute replacement for Ryan Day, and Wade Morley, who comes in for Liam Dunster. So let's get straight into our first match. Gareth Potts taking on Wade Morley, and the pair traded break clearances in the first couple of frames. Wade Morley has the break in frame 3. Stephen Jameson joins myself, Simon Webb, on commentary.
It's been a very, very good return. Still, absolutely, in every single tournament he enters, no matter what the format is, whether it's one of, as he calls it, a fun tournament, or whether it's one of the more serious outings, he's always one of the names very high on the list of favourites to win.
Poor break from Wade, cue ball going straight in off. And final word for Gareth on that transition from the Chinese game to the English game. A lot of people wondering, you know, it can't be that big a difference, but it really does make a massive difference, the size of the balls and the table and the way things react. And it's a very different game to have that sort of feel, certainly to the level that, to play to the level that Gareth does and the top players do. It's what makes what Chris Manning does so remarkable, the fact that he tops and changes so much.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, isn't it? It's not just the difference in games, it's to the level they're being played at.
Last time that Gareth was in this position, though, when his first year in China, he played one tournament after his first year because he'd made a commitment to play in the World Championships, and he stood by his word to play in it, and he turned up having not played for a year and won it. So he can do it, he knows that.
Yeah, and you were in that field, which
huge part of it, obviously.
Shows you the level of the tournament.
Yeah, Gareth won. I was the last 64 loser, so there you go. Enough said. Gareth just knocked a red awkward there, the one next to the yellow in that previous shot.
Straight back into it, a little bit left-hand side.
Beautiful. 8 ball's slightly awkward and doesn't go left centre, so he will want a nice ball on it to land nicely.
Yeah, he's just looking. He may come around a couple of cushions and end up behind it, just below where the two yellows are together, to play it into the right middle. He could obviously land below it and take it long. But Gareth is what you might call a pool purist. Himself and Mick Hill are very much in that same sort of bracket where there really is a right and a wrong way to clear up, and it's not defined on whether or not you actually do. He does indeed just land below the yellows, but he will take this long. He's very kindly on it to the top right. This for 2-1. Easily done.
Wade's missed break could be the error. He'll hope it isn't. He'll hope he gets more chances. Has to sit and watch this break.
Oh, that's hit perfect. Oh, golden break. I don't think he even realised. He does now.
This is absolutely exceptional. This is perfect. Cue ball straight up the middle of the table. Huge power. And obviously a little Brucey bonus.
Yeah. There you go. Reaction absolutely brilliant from Gareth Potts there. He doesn't tend to get many of them. He's a real slave to the front ball break. I don't think you'll ever see Gareth Potts hit a cut break, which generally gets the 8 ball. 3-1 down. He's really not done much wrong apart from that, and he's done it twice, and it will probably cost him the match. We are now getting to that stage where it's not necessarily the case in our long races where you tend to get a little bit more chances, but in these races to 4, when, you know, just by nature of how quick they are, the margins are so small, it's going to start coming down to, you know, we used to say, he didn't really get a chance, he's gone in off on his break a couple of times, didn't get the chance to win, but actually it's going to get to the point where you're going off your break, you're almost at this point, you can only blame yourself.
It's certainly in the two ways that Wade's gone in off. They're both poor breaks for the cue ball to go straight in the centre pocket, and okay, it doesn't sound like much going in off the break, but that's the difference between having the opportunities here and giving it to Gareth, and Gareth has run through these very quickly.
Yeah. Could have if he wanted. I think rivaled his 27-second clearance. No trouble at all. Gareth Potts in a hurry against Wade Morley. Gets through by 4 frames to 1. Super finish.
On to our second match of the night. Gio Edgar taking on Chris Day. And it was Gio that made a break clearance and a reverse clearance to win the opening 2 frames. And he has the break in frame 3.
Has to continue. Oh, so good.
He's cracking that break. It's as well as I've ever seen Gio break.
Yeah, good control on this one as well. This is really nice.
Yeah, Chris Day might find himself 3-0 down here very, very quickly.
Didn't launch at it, just stayed within his own shape and just caught it flush. Huge power and huge rewards for a very good break. Hard to make a case for this going wrong. Maybe the yellow nearest right centre doesn't go in the right centre, and that could get a bit awkward. If that's the case, do you get rid of the one over the bottom right, open up that pocket, or are you happy with it as a plant, or do you try and play on it in another pocket? A number of different ways you can go about this. Looks like he wanted the plant. Well, he is on the plant. The good news with playing the plant early is if the yellow does come away from the pocket, it's not going to be a big problem because he's not playing on it. He's playing on the yellow to left centre. And the yellow hasn't come away from the pocket, so all good.
Well, this is a super start. Relentless from the young man. Also enjoyed that little turn of phrase in your interview with Gio when he said, "Oh, Gio, when you came over to Ultimate Pool, you were a young man." I don't think you can call him that. Oh, he's nearly an off again. He's very nearly a golden break as well. Can you imagine if that was a golden duck? Match over, see you later. It was very close.
Tough to take. He's hit that one well.
Yeah, he has.
Thought the 8-ball was in for a second. But because the match has gone so quickly here, this is where you have to be mentally strong and not give up hope. Gio's done 3 off the break, 2 off his own, 1 off Chris's. Now Chris has to try and respond and do the same. And if he's to get back in this match, he has to start here and do 1 off his own break. And then he needs help with something off Gio's. But you can't get too down. All you can do is take the chances that come your way. And he's done very well not to pop the 8-ball there. That was dangerous. But with over half the match, or just about half the match still remaining, it is not beyond the realms of possibility that Chris can respond here.
No, absolutely not. Never rule out anyone really at this stage of the night. As long as they're at the table, they've got a chance. He's judged that one really well. That was a tricky little shot.
He knew he was getting that cannon and, as you say, judged it perfectly. Could have gone wrong. Could have knocked the yellow on top of the red. Could have gone awkward with the cue ball. And Chris was having none of it. Very good from Chris. Great response. Cue ball straight in off. So has the table turned? Chris has the opportunity to get back within 1. It's a decent one. And you can see there on the replay, just came across it a fraction.
Yeah, the margins are so razor thin.
Going to be
Only
taking
takes a fraction.
It does. Going to be taking the yellows. Yellow nearest the left centre pocket is your problem. He may come straight back for it as a plant.
Yellow ball's in play.
Looks like he's not going to play the plant. I thought he might, just simply because the reds look like they're in the way and could get messy, but if he's playing it dead weight, then they wouldn't be. But then I suppose you still have to get the cue ball on it and back out, so I don't think he's going to play the plant now. He's going to look to play it clean to one of the pockets. Definitely goes top left. May go top right through the gap of the reds. Oh, in the end, he tried to move it and lands on the plant. That's not what he was trying to do. A little bit surprised that. If it wasn't easy to get on that yellow, then I like the plant sort of second shot. Going into it, never guaranteed to knock it on. And that's come out well for him, rather than playing the dead weight plant where, whilst the yellow would still be okay, he has to get down on it and get on it in such a way where he can get out without the reds coming into play. So he plays it cushion first to get the yellow away from the reds, taking a little bit of a gamble, but an educated one, that there's no reds where he was trying to send the yellow to, and he was always going to be on something. Chris taking his time here. 5 minutes 20 left.
Yeah, just have to be careful.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those that it's worth rushing through a finish here. You know, 5 minutes is enough time for him to make a couple more finishes.
And Chris is one of those players as well, I think, has really shown a very good knowledge of the shot clock. Been very clever with it in previous tournaments. This sort of format has suited him in the past as well. He's done very well in the pairs when he's teamed with Sean Storey. He's done very well in the Champion of Champions shootout, got to the final in 2021. Does seem to have the game required to win these sorts of events. But you need to pot the balls. That is the one absolute prerequisite. You can maybe win these matches without necessarily being comfortable on the shot clock and clock management and all the rest of it, but you can't win matches missing 8 balls like that.
And he'll be kicking himself. He's not giving too much away in his chair, but he does have the next break. That was a real chance to... Well, he's still going to get it.
Wow.
A poor miss from Gio. He just landed... Well, he didn't land there. Chris left him absolutely straight, but it wasn't really that much of a problem. Just a poor one.
Well, what a let-off for Chris Day. That could be a huge swing in the match.
Yeah, the one that makes the last mistake is also the one that has to think about it. The one that gets away with it can just write it off.
8 ball.
Oh, how'd that yellow not drop to the bottom right? I think Chris is asking himself the same question.
Extension call.
3 minutes 30 is too long to pot out, as in to take on a series of pots just to run the clock down. You would leave enough time. So Gio has to play this as a genuine frame or make the clearance to win the match. You would say the clearance is on. Yes, there's one bad yellow, but there's yellows around it. Just left himself off angle on both yellows here. Not sure if he was playing for the one underneath his hand or the one in the middle of the table, but not a good angle on either of them.
It's nicely done so far.
Key shot coming up. I wonder if he drops it in, whether he could play the gap. I don't know if there's enough room, but looks like he's playing into it.
Ooh, that's gone wrong.
Yeah, that looked tough to me. Going into the red was a long way away from the yellow. Moving it towards the yellow at that pace just never looked likely. Could have maybe made the case of trying to get the red out of the way, but not from that angle. So, disastrous visit to the table for Gio.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be interesting. 1 minute 44.
And this is where Chris can be clever on the clock. It's about making this clearance, but he won't want to rush through this clearance and try and leave enough time for another clearance because it's Gio's break.
So much so. Simon Webb is looking very confused next to me.
That's a strange one. If he took the pot on, he missed by an awful long way.
Yeah, I assumed it was a safety. I can't imagine it was a pot.
I think it was a shot to nothing. It was one of those that he was expecting it to be safe, but hoping to make the pot because then he can go for the clearance. But missed it by a distance, and if it was an out-and-out safety, it was risky. Anyway, it's worked out for him because he has the opportunity here. 53 seconds. Doesn't have to worry about what he leaves in terms of the clock now because a clearance here will make it too tight for Gio, and it would only be a golden break available. Well, that's not going to help Chris's chances, knocking the red more awkward on the left-hand side. He was just trying to bump it over the middle pocket.
Yeah, not done yet. 30 seconds, he's got to move.
Yeah, and it's not as easy as it looks. It hasn't been the whole way through this. Can make a case for taking the one to the bottom left now. Absolutely make a case for doing it because now he's far more awkward.
Back double, needs it. 8 balls moving, needs to wait for that to stop to play his shot. And it's going to cost him. He was only a second away. But Gio Edgar is going to get over the line. Really good game, that one. Enjoyed that.
Chris Day will stay out in the arena to take on Wade Morley in the third match of the night. They shared the opening couple of frames. Chris has the break in frame 3.
Oh, 8 ball flying.
Yeah, didn't it just?
Eight ball kick straight away. Split second, I thought he might have a chance, but he knew.
Yeah, he was watching it immediately, wasn't he? He knew. Knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, and the layout's not great here. Oh, this is big. Does the red squeeze in, or is he playing the combination? He's played the combination and not got it.
Just loss of turn.
Means, yeah, loss of turn. He played it in a way where he wasn't throwing caution to the wind. I thought because he had the angle, he might be playing all out there and trying to develop the red on the left-hand side as well. But he wasn't. I think he could just tell with the yellow being in the side of the pocket, just made that slightly tricky.
Red ball's in play.
Clever way for Wade to get reds, which he can do in that situation because he was playing a red. He can pop the red over the pocket the way he has and then go about his business.
Oh, this is turning into a very interesting match.
He's been very fortunate if that red that's come round the table has got between the two yellows, because it just makes that area awkward. If that red stops, and it may just about got there. The reason I say may is Chris may have been tempted to play the plant if he could have got right behind it, or play the one over the, or nearest the pocket and drop on the other one into the right centre, but the red stops that as a possibility. Has to play the cannon. Plays it well. Bad angle on the next ball, though.
Four minutes and change to play.
Extension call.
Just when Chris wanted a bit more of a solid contact on the red to make life really easy, so he could have gone drop in, drop in. He skims off it, which means the cue balls move in here.
Oh, and there you have it. Had to force it. That drops at pocket weight, mate. Absolutely no mistake of that. But punching it into the middle pocket at that pace is always so risky.
I was wondering, the way he was queuing up there, I thought he might just screw that in and play in a strange way. I mean, it sounds strange, but 8-ball bottom right corner, because he could have screwed the ball across, the cue ball across to be just above the left centre pocket comfortably. But I think because all the room in the world was in the middle of the table, I don't think he ever thought he could miss that one in the middle at all. It was just about picking the line. But he has missed 3 or 4 in that middle pocket, and each of them have been quite jarring.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Jarring's the word I'd use. Been a bit of an uncharacteristic performance, that's for sure. Wade Morley very much, you feel like in control of this match, but he's only just going ahead. 2 minutes left to play. It's still anyone's.
Much better.
Without the lightning rod. Love that. Yeah, and when you are cut breaking, you are using much less power. It's much more like a normal shot as opposed to, you know, putting everything through it. It's the only real reason that break cues are used. It's purely just to preserve your playing cue. Cut break, you don't really need to do that all that much. And also, you're playing with the cue you play every other shot with. You feel like you've got more control. You feel like it's, you sort of know what you're doing and what you're going to get a little bit more. That was more like it from Wade.
Yeah, you don't see many people breaking the cut break with the break cue. It's quite rare. So taking on the reds, question mark here for me. Where's the 8-ball going? Or is he just potting out here? I think it's the latter. 8-ball might sneak in the middle pocket. Might sneak in the corner, but it looks awfully tight to me.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that match clock. If he uses
all
of it, yeah, there's just no way Chris can come back in the match.
Yeah, if he gets to the 8-ball, he's won the match. Doesn't matter whether the 8-ball goes in or not. If he does do that, I would be against slapping it around the table. You don't want to foul. We've seen that before.
Yeah, he's very deliberately waiting for those beeps every single time. Currently looks like the most casual man ever on 15 seconds a shot, and that's because he knows exactly what he's doing. Even had an extension to boot. And Wade Morley has pushed Chris Day, just nudged him easily and carefully away here. Job done. Wade Morley wins and keeps himself alive in this Champions League group. No way through now for Chris Day, who takes it well, but he'll be so disappointed, I know.
The fourth match of the night always appears to be the crunch match of the night, as the two winners from our opening 2 games do battle. Gareth Potts won the opening frame in a couple of visits before the pair traded break clearances. Gio Edgar now has the break in frame 4.
Another good break from Gio.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, a little bit of work, just the transition from top to bottom here. Not quite as good as some other breaks he's had tonight. Cue ball just a little bit more to the side. We know he's trying to get it up the middle of the table. Didn't look like it's quite as powerful a contact, but they've still spread far and wide. So it's going to be reds, and the reason I mentioned the transition, it's going to be these three at the top don't connect great to the three at the bottom. The two in particular by the yellow nearest the triangle area. Hasn't landed great on this one. He was always wanted to be on the one to the left centre because he doesn't want this one to be the transitional shot. So has to play it now and plays it well. Doesn't have a great angle at first glance to get down the table. Of course, you've got the one over the pocket. The closer you can get to your work, the better.
Gio can't worry about what's happening on the other side of the table. That's the beauty of this game. You can't really impact your opponent. It's just about doing what you do.
It's just going to be an awkward last ball here by the first looks of this one.
Oh, is it going to be the double?
I think if he can just drop it in, he can take it right centre and just drop it in the centre pocket. Yeah, he's played this with loads of check side just so it hits the cushion, it kills the pace and also kills the angle.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he could get through to the potting angle, but he obviously can. Yeah, job done. It's a nice shot in the end from Gio.
Not good. Straight into the corner pocket from Gareth. So a chance for Gio to take control of the match and the group.
Yeah, he knew. He knew straight away, and then his first port of call was to look at the rest of the table. What am I leaving? How bad is it? Well, that's how bad it is.
First unsuccessful break on the night for Gareth.
So Gio looking at reds, not a big surprise. His problem red.
Oh, dear.
Well, you can't miss that one, Gio.
See how quick Gareth jumped out of his chair there. I think he was as shocked as we are.
Yeah, I wonder if Gio was just trying to pinch as much of that as he
What?
he could.
Well, the strange thing there is you've got cue ball in hand. There should be no need to pinch the pocket because you could just move. You can just move the cue ball. So it's a very strange one there.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Gareth says, "Well, I'll take reds then. Cheers."
It's still not a wide open chance. It was the point I was going to make for Gio a minute ago, is that it looks like everything has a pocket, but the connections aren't absolutely ideal. That doesn't look ideal. Between everything here, I'd have thought he was playing on the one to bottom left. He wanted to get as straight on it as possible, I think, just so he could get onto the next ball cleanly. I think he's overrun it.
Wade Morley casting an eager eye. He's still in with a shout tonight. Needs to win his next match, whatever happens, to have a chance. If Gareth wins this, I think I'm right in saying that it's not necessarily all in Wade's hands, because Well, if Gareth wins his third match not against Wade, then Gareth is through no matter what Wade does.
Yeah, for Wade, it actually benefits him if Gio wins the match because it means qualifications in his own hands as he go into his final match, beats Gio, and then has to do it in a 6-red shootout.
A draw is a great result for Wade Morley here. That's the scoreline at the moment, but for how much longer? Gareth's gone about these reds very well indeed. Very well indeed.
It has been a very awkward layout, really. He's been kind of half a ball from perfect a couple of times here, and he's just had to work hard.
He's worked hard, but he's worked very well. Big shot to come. This for the lead. Never in doubt.
A break clearance here could lead to a draw. Worth mentioning again, 4 times tonight where he's made a ball off the break, he has made a break clearance. So first test done, he's made a ball.
Extension call.
Awkward top area of the table.
Red ball's in play.
Can he get to the potting angle of the one to the top left? And if he can, what's the angle like? Can he get into the one that really doesn't have a pocket? The one on the top cushion.
Has he got the legs? So it would have done, but not off the jaw. Chance for Gareth to seal the match.
Not a good chance. But he'll be pleased to come to the table and start to affect the outcome here. Match
15-second
management.
Shot clock now in play as well.
Yeah, 2 minutes 37 left. So make your decision here. Are you going to chase a finish, which could lead to a draw? Or are you going to make it messy and try and ask Gio some big questions?
I think we know the answer, don't we?
Well, it all depends on those 2 yellows in the top half of the table. If he feels a way of dealing with those, the rest are no problem whatsoever. I mean, the 8 ball flies past the red, all the other yellows are fine. It's just those 2 in the top half to either have a pocket. Can he play one off the other? You just saw there in the overhead. Might be able to play one off the other and just... Oh, when you do that, it will move that yellow off the top cushion. If he does do that, he might want to leave it late, which is obviously against what you normally would be talking about, but in terms of leave as little time on the clock as possible. Or does he leave himself an angle on the yellow in the middle of the table to go into the problems?
Gareth's always spoken about the 15-second shot clock. He has pretty notoriously struggled with it by his own admission. You really don't get much time.
Oh, perfect. Could
What a
not have come
shot.
out better.
What a shot. That is perfect.
And he's not rushing to try and get the finish done. He's rushing to because he doesn't want the shot clock to become a problem. Just wanted to check how much room there is for the yellow. And there isn't much, and he's snookered himself. Gio, chalk your cue. You're going to get a chance, barring something miraculous here from Gareth Potts. He might hit this quite firm. Use up some of the clock. Oh, it's going.
How close are you? What an effort. It sticks up.
Huge piece of fortune for Gareth Potts. You saw him hold up his hand. That is a massive, massive moment. If that yellow stays in the middle of the table, Gio has the time.
Oh, hello. Hello. 15 seconds. Oh, he won't quite get the shot. That would have been one of the most miraculous finishes we'd have ever seen.
Gio will stay out in the arena to take on Wade Morley. Both players still have a chance of qualifying if they get victory in this match. And it was Gio that got off to the brighter start, winning the first 2 frames. Wade has the break in frame 3.
his best pull.
Yeah.
And didn't quite look right out there. 8 ball straight in.
Look at that. Who needs a lightning bolt? Wade Morley with the playing cue. Well, there you go. Celebration for us, Wade.
He is happy. Like a soft explosion of the pack here. I didn't. Yeah, look at that. Just unfolded. They didn't explode like we do see from time to time, but he won't care. These have come out like a dream for him. This is, you take this every single time.
Yeah, this is pretty lovely, to be honest.
Just for a second, he thought he'd put himself in trouble if he was touching not that yellow or half a roll further or quarter roll further, he would be in trouble, but he's okay. Just slightly worried to make sure he leaves a good angle to get onto the last yellow. Could have dropped it in and taken the one to the top left and come round 2 cushions onto the final yellow. He decided to go up a bit further for it, and I think he may have the angle now just to screw back onto it rather than using the top cushion.
Use the top cushion. It's okay. I think he's fine.
Yeah, he just left himself a bit of an off angle on that last one. He wanted to go an extra couple of rolls up the table or a couple of rolls less. In the end, he left himself a bit awkward, which is why he's not landed nicely on this one.
Makes it all the same. Good pot. Very good from Gio Edgar. 3-1 in front.
Try to repeat the feat. All the 8 ball does is go to the top cushion and leave a chance for Gio to run through this and make it 4-1. No need to worry about the match clock at all here.
15-second shot clock in play. Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, and he won't. All there. Doesn't look like Gareth Potts is going to get his wish, which would have been to see a draw here. He'd have known that was fairly unlikely, but it wouldn't have stopped him wishing for it. And this will be that. 4-1. Excellent for Gio Edgar. He will, at worst, finish second tonight.
On to our final match of the night. Gareth Potts taking on the already eliminated Chris Day. If Gareth gets the win or a draw, he is through. If he loses, it would be a 6-red shootout with Gio Edgar. We join the match halfway through the first frame.
And he has. From the overhead, it looks like he's got that perfect. If the red does slide by, then Chris has a chance. If it doesn't, then he's in trouble. The reason I say that, he can't play the loss of turn back because the yellow's over the corner pocket. Well, the fact that Chris is going straight after this, like this, tells me that red probably does slide in.
Yep.
A big, big difference. That quarter of roll on that yellow is huge.
Oh, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, hasn't tried to go into it, so the red does squeeze in.
And here we go, maybe. This looks tight. Rather you than me.
Yeah, it didn't look... the fact that he played for it tells me that he thinks it went, but it didn't look good from the camera angle we had there.
Was there an element maybe of him just going, well, I'm not going to leave anything?
Now Gaz comes around to have a look to see whether the yellow will slide past the red. And I agree with you, though. I think that's probably the case. He probably felt like he wasn't going to be leaving anything on. If he got the red in front of the yellow, he'd make it life awkward for Gaz. This is tight, but this looks more on. See, if he hits the jaw, he should be good.
Oh, it was close.
It just feathered the red on the way through. Had to miss the red straight. If it misses the red, then it hits the jaw and then slides in. It just has that more momentum going forward.
That was close.
And this is using up a huge percentage of the match clock. Certainly if I'm Gio, I'm very excited by what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, you just never know in this format. You just don't.
Though having said that about Gio, I'm now not feeling it now that he's missed the double.
No. There is that. Well, Gareth Potts over the line in that frame.
The pair traded break clearances over the next couple of frames. Chris Day now has the break 2-1 behind.
Not necessarily losing the frame, but the speed of it.
The way that Chris breaks, you can never discount it, but that's manna from heaven for Gareth Potts. Just what he was hoping to see, really.
Well, with that split as well, should be the final nail in the coffin for Chris and for Gio on tonight's action, because these are as good as they get.
Extension call.
Well, it's been a good performance tonight from Gareth Potts. It really has. Been far from easy at times. He's had to graft. He's had to work. But he is going to get there in the end. And it is going to be job done. Gareth Potts completes the Ultimate Pool Champions League group, it seems. And he gets to do it in style.
Two bad balls though, whichever colour set you out. Two clusters in the bottom half of the table. Not really the split he wanted. I think he has to go reds. The yellow nearest the bottom right, very difficult to solve. The one on the near the bottom left, also very difficult to solve. Both easier to deal with reds.
Red ball's in play.
That will be the plan.
Very professional shot. Decided, weighed it up. Finish was not guaranteed, so You've got control of the frame, play safe, kills the clock. Not sure Gareth will mind that
No.
going in. It's not exactly given Chris much of a chance.
So it's proved, although it's not going to tempt Gareth to go big at this. At least I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I can see the reason for that. My first thought was just flick off those and get the cue across behind the yellow and 8 ball. The problem with that is Chris may then well have been able to play a very, very good snooker. So it wasn't necessarily a sign of aggression from Gareth, but making the plant gave him an opportunity to control things a little bit more. But all of this is just running the clock down, and remember, Chris needs 3 frames from here to change the outcome.
Yeah, academic really. But still going about it the right way. Oh, tried to make something happen spectacular there. He was on the right line. Bit more pace.
I think this time it would throw too wide. Can't get into it from here. Good try, though.
Gave it everything. And he's not really left Gareth much to go at here either.
Not unless there's enough red showing to take the one above the 8 ball long. But easy safety.
Oh, played that well. Well, he has left the 1 cushion though. Chris will give this a go. They're enjoying it out there. Shot! Excellent shot from Chris Day. Can he complete the job? I'll tell you what. Oh, it's held up. And in a strange way, that just about sums up Chris Day's night. But Gareth Potts is through, his work is done. A solid win in his final match. He goes 3 from 3.
A very solid performance from Gareth Potts, and the group favourite moves on to the second stage of the competition. The whole night is available to watch on Ultimate Pool TV, or if you're looking forward to next week, then this is what we have for you as we move into the second stage of the competition. Chris Melling, Neil Raybone, Jordan Shepherd and Tom Ford will do battle in Group 1 from the second stage of the Ultimate Pool Champions League.